Many people want to make a difference in the world. Champions of social justice have been striving for that for centuries, and none more so than the heroes of the 20th century. But what about the average person? How does someone who has never been in a rally or started a strike make things better for the world? The answer is very simple: by affecting a few lives in very important ways. This simple but profound idea was the focus of the group The Number One Believers, which consisted of BVU students Dominique, Eric, and Katie, and students from Storm Lake Middle School, Mickey, Mohammed, and Ilvania. Each of these students knows someone who has influenced his or her life for the better, and to pay tribute to these special people, we, the BV students, helped them to learn the skills to capture the story of these people. Through education on the working of editing, interviewing, and research, the students of BV and the middle school learned how to capture a story and bring out the best in it. The middle schoolers then selected people they wished to interview. Choices changed over the weeks, but eventually 3 candidates were selected. Mohammed picked Deborah Netton, a teacher at the school, as did Mickey, who picked Norma Bain. Ilvania chose to interview her friend, Justin. Each of these people had a different story. Mrs. Netton was a former special education teacher who also works as a mentor at The Bridge, a non-profit Christian organization. Norma Bain was born in Mexico and moved to Texas before coming to Storm Lake. She had a good ESL teacher but struggled with the limited resources of her school, which is not a problem at Storm Lake, partly thanks to her. Justin himself is a product of the choices of the previous generations. His grandparents left China to escape a war and came to America to give their daughter, his mother, a better life. Through this class, we at BV learn the skills to teach our middle school partners how to capture the core of a story and thus how to spread it and ensure that the efforts of one generation to support another are known and remembered. Norma Bain is an English as a second language teacher who came to the United States from Mexico. She works to make education easier for her students. Deb Netton is a teacher. She was born in America and adopted a child from Korea. Justin is a student from Storm Lake Middle School. He was born in Minnesota, but his grandparents came from China. They left China to escape a war. The understanding of the phrase, "one generation impacts another," is important when watching this video. By telling the stories of Norma, Deb, and Justin, we hope to give you a better understanding of how these past generations have influenced the future ones.
For my experience when I was an ESL student, we had one ESL teacher, and we just stayed with that person in that room all day. So we didn't interact with other kids unless it was lunchtime or PE. Any other teachers we didn't know. And here we have more ELO teachers, so we can group kids accordingly and by grade level. We have kids, ESL kid or ELO kids in the classroom, general classroom, so they interact with other kids, with regular classroom teachers, and we have interventions. We have before and after school program, so there's more help.
Okay.
Like I said, maybe things have changed because it's been many years, so I'm hoping.
As a child, Norma's parents moved to Texas, and it was there that she learned English from an ESL teacher named Mr. Paradise. He was a good teacher, but as the only ESL teacher at that school, the students had to stay with him and had little interaction with students who spoke English. As a teacher, Norma is able to work with other ESL teachers to give her students more attention and ensure that none of them have to struggle to learn as she did. She and the other teachers can take more time and use more resources so that when a student is struggling with work or understands but is shy, she can help them. She has seen her students go from not knowing any English to mastering the language and moving on to bigger things. Some are even students at Buena Vista University.
And I keep thinking as I teach my students, I remind them frequently that when you're going to be in high school and in your college, right? We talk about decisions you make now, how they impact you, what you'll become later. Now is the time to set discipline and set rules and practices. So I keep thinking as I teach, not only want to teach you reading and language skills, but I want to teach you to become responsible people, young adults someday, that you have goals, and as Dominique brought up as far as with the bridge, and the leadership that some of the young kids have taken in their late 20s and 30s, and the leadership they've taken to begin to impact this city and to make decisions that they want to move into. They see the needs. They see the lots of kids who struggle with language or maybe school or home or something, and they've taken some definite steps to change that, to help. That has impacted maybe we as an older generation huge, because that's something, there's a group that have talked about that and prayed about that for a long time, but maybe we've never put feet to it. And now we see God raising up these people and putting feet to this, and that has been fun to be able to walk beside them and begin to sense and feel that heartbeat for kids, and for knowing that Muhammad's your generation has to make a difference in this city. How important that is.
The impact Deb wants to have on her students is powerful. By working to teach her students how to become responsible young adults, Deb is taking a strong approach to be able to teach her students just that. Not only is Deb impacting a younger generation, Generation Y is impacting Deb's generation by going out into the community and helping those who need them. The work the young adults are doing is fulfilling the work that past generations have wanted to do but never did. Everything Deb has said shows that not only is she impacting a younger generation, but also how a younger generation has impacted her.
They moved during the war because it wasn't good, because my grandma had my mom. So once when they got here, my mom was born, and then my dad was born and stopped. But my mom would say, like, they don't like, you have to have, you have to, I think, well, they'll ask you where you're from, and if you say you're from the United States, they'll probably try to kill you. We're the same race and we're the same culture, and we should have together because we're their people and we're the same as them.
Justin's story about his grandparents' tales shows how big an impact moving to another country has on one's life. If Justin's family didn't move to the U.S., Justin's life would have been completely different with regards to his education and basic freedoms. Justin's story can be echoed by many who live in the United States. These people have impacted generations in many ways. Mrs. Netton impacted a generation with her kindness. Justin's education was impacted because his grandparents moved to the United States. Norma impacted a generation by teaching students how to speak the English language. The number one believers explored the importance of interaction between the college students and middle schoolers while discovering the power of a story.